Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike rolls on this Wednesday morning. Bison men's basketball coach Dave Richmond join us top of the hour. Bison have a biggie with Kansas City coming up tomorrow night. Our pleasure to be joined in studio. Now I can say former Bison linebacker Luke Weerts joins us here off a third national championship. It sounds pretty good when I say that, right?
It sure does. Great to be here first, I want to say, Dom, and what a way to end the career.
Pretty good stuff, man. I was looking back. I think the first time I interviewed you was the summer of 2018.
Oh, wow. I think I do
That's
remember that.
a long time ago.
I remember that in my
prior to
house.
your senior year, because you had just committed
Yep.
to NDSU, which, granted, that sounds crazy ago. But let's just go back to last Monday. We talked on Saturday, knowing probably it was going to be a long shot, maybe probably not going to play.
Yep.
How was that to deal with that on that night, not being able to play in your last game?
Yeah, I mean, leading up to the game, I kind of had a feeling that I wasn't going to get the best news from the doctor, but
and you tried pretty much everything, right?
Yeah,
Tim told me you were ready to do another injection or whatever for your back.
Yeah,
right?
we were searching under rocks. We were trying to do the best that I could to play, but at the end of the day, it wasn't in the cards for me, and that was really tough to take on. I obviously had a bunch of good conversations with Coach Polisek and the trainers, and then my family, and it ended up not being in the cards for me, but it was okay. I mean, it ended up ending the way that I wanted it to end, and it was blessings no matter what.
And I mentioned this off the top of the show. You're not alone in that, with a couple other 6-year guys.
Yep.
Sam, Jake was in that. Dylan.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's not a fraternity I know you guys want to be part of,
No.
but all that had to do that on
Right.
Monday night.
That was the way that I looked at it was kind of the silver lining, was I got to spend some more time with my best friends at the end of the year that I otherwise wouldn't have been spending time with them. So
the emotion when the game ended, what was I've tried to find most of the seniors. I didn't get a chance to see you. Tell me what that was like going back on that stage again.
Man, it was it's one of those moments where you kind of just stand there and are in awe for a little bit. And I first thing I did, I remember I hugged Coach Olson and told him how much I appreciated him. And man, it was just pandemonium from there on out. Started running over to the stage, and being back on that stage where we belonged was an incredible feeling.
3 separate times you were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
As a true freshman in 2019, I mean, I can't even imagine what that was like. 21, I know you only played a couple games and you got hurt that year. So you were obviously a huge contributor this year. Did this feel more special, knowing it was your last one as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you can contribute as much as I did this year, it definitely feels a little bit more special. And then obviously me being a 6-year senior and this being the last ride, and all of us coming together as seniors and talking before the season that this was our last goal, and achieving that is really, really cool.
We talked last year about utilizing this last year. Was there any hesitation on that to do it, knowing full well what your body had already been through?
Yeah, 6 years of college football is a lot.
Long time, man. You played
it's
64 games I'm looking at.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's a lot of wear and tear on the body. Obviously, if you don't go through an injury in that time, then you're very lucky. I mean, I'm very blessed to be in the situation that I was, to be able to play this last year, and I don't think there was any hesitation really coming into it.
Yeah.
Me and my other 6-year guys talked before the season and after last season, and we had unfinished business, and we finished that this year.
The seriousness of your back, can you detail a little bit about that now that your playing career is over, and like what you were dealing with, especially this season?
Yeah, so I back in the 21-22 season, I had a disc herniation in my L5-S1, which is basically just the disc protruded out into my spinal cavity, and I had a little bit of impingement on the nerve.
Oh.
So it was a lot of stuff just going down the leg, and that was something that came back around this year as well. So I ended up having another herniation and another disc, and was dealing with that, kind of in denial about it. Like, oh man, I can play, I can gut this out. But towards the end, it got pretty severe, and to the point where I didn't want to risk anything moving forward. So
like it could have impacted quality of life. We're talking about, right?
Yeah. Right. And I just had a appointment with a doctor this morning, and things are looking good. I'm not going to need surgery again.
That's great.
Yeah, just basically told me to stop running into 300-pounders, and I should be all right.
The Did it affect like walking? Did you feel like, or was it, did anything get numb? Like, I just, can you describe the pain that you were in?
Yeah, so it was a lot of just nerve pain. So basically, whenever the nerve would stretch out, like I would lengthen my leg out and pull my toe towards my nose. That's kind of when it would flare up. So not fun stuff, not stuff you want to be going through when you're 23 years old. But
right.
I'm gonna be really strict with my stretching and core stabilization moving forward. And I'm gonna be all right.
The fact that you gutted out and did it, and we talked down in Frisco to play in that South Dakota State game, the semifinal game. I mean, first off, how much pain were you in for that?
Yeah, it was once the adrenaline kicked in, there wasn't as much pain, but it was also just in the back of my head during the game, and I didn't like playing like that. It was something that
you were thinking about it,
right?
Yeah.
It kind of restricted me from playing to the best of my ability, and if I would have gutted it out for the championship, would I have played to 100%? Probably not. So I don't want to, one, hurt the team, and two, risk hurting myself further. So it was the decision that needed to be made.
But you still played. I mean, just to be out there, you know, you told me there was no way you were going to miss your last game in the Dome.
No, especially against them.
Yeah. What did that mean to have that and have the kind of performance that you did have?
Man, just incredible. Just the ability to beat those guys twice in my last season, and really it was like the capstone to everything.
Well, I got a piece of video of you carrying around the marker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that group, you experienced it in your true freshman year.
Yep.
Did you make that trip? Were you down? Okay, I couldn't remember if you went there. Down to Brookings.
Yep.
So you must have thought, hey, we're going to do this every year.
Right.
And it didn't happen again until your super senior year. What was that moment like to go and pick up the marker? Yeah,
I mean, they had our number for a while, and credit to them. They're a fantastic team. It's one of those things where you respect them, but you also, like Cam said, you hate them. And the ability to come out of that marker game victorious was absolutely incredible. I remember the run over to the marker was something I'll never forget.
Yeah,
because it was something that was so foreign to everyone on the team. Like, you know, and we were all ready to go at the end of that.
The super seniors knew what was going on.
Right.
Like yourself, you had done it before.
Yep.
So was there a plan, or was it just organized chaos to get over there?
Sprint over to that rock, and it was organized chaos, like you said.
To have the way this season planned out, I want to go back to when Coach Polasek came in for that meeting, because he's told it from his perspective.
Yep.
Can you give it yours of what that interaction was like? Because it was pretty public, Luke, that a lot of the team wanted Tyler Roll to be the next head coach.
Yeah.
What was that first meeting like for you guys?
Oh, it was a hostile environment for Coach P.
Yeah.
And big credit to Matt Larson for having the nuts to make the right hire. Because Coach P, throughout the year, obviously at first, not many people accepted him, but he came into that meeting and said, give me some time, let me grow these relationships with you guys, and we're going to end up having a great year. And he did that. And he brought back a lot of intensity and grit to the program that we might have been lacking in the past couple of years. All the credit goes to him, because he did a great job, and I respect that man.
When did things cool down? Like with Coach Polasek, obviously the first one was pretty cool, I guess. When did I guess the temperature go down in the room after that?
I think it took a couple weeks, kind of, just to, and we were in preseason at that point, so it wasn't anything super insane. But come spring ball and come fall camp and everything, I mean, he was an intense guy. I can tell that him and Coach Roll have a really good relationship, because they're very
of the
very
same
similar.
cloth.
Yeah, cut of the same cloth. And it was an easy transition for him, because he has Bison in his blood as well.
I was interested. I hadn't asked anybody of that in a while, of what that, because he has told his perspective. Like early on, it wasn't going well.
No,
and especially for you being a captain, being around it. That you have a good feel of what the team is receiving at that particular time. So I was interested in how that.
Yeah,
it could have gone south, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, and he did a great job of not pushing too much early on, and just kind of understanding what he had, the leaders that he had throughout the team, the type of staff that he had in the team, and he brought in the right guys. And man, it was a special year. Was
there a time either he said something to you or got on you like, oh, this is different, this is not what I've been used to?
Yeah, he's a fiery guy. I mean, I'm not going to repeat the things that he said. If I repeat it, I might
we'll get off the air. Yes.
But during practice, there's been some times that he's gotten after some guys, but rightfully so. And he brought back that fire, like I said, to the program. Like we had some drills this year. We had one drill called blocks drill, where basically it's just O-line lines up, the D-line and the linebackers, and there's no plays. You just go straight ahead and try to beat the guy in front of you, and that's something that we were missing a lot. So
how much was that fun? How much fun was that drill?
oh man, it was there was some head stuff going on there, but running into people's fun.
Yeah, as you're back in a test tube.
Yeah, right.
Before we go to break, now the guys are for the ones that are still playing. Is this like the only respite they actually get this week before Kramer gets them next week?
Yep, and I think school just started. Okay. So actually, they got a week off. So these guys,
that's
kids,
right.
yeah, they're soft. Yeah. I mean, back in the day,
yeah, right. Here we go.
We would go straight into that. We would have the game on the Saturday, and then going into the Monday, we would have school.
Yeah, you go back
right
to
away.
school. That's
yep.
right. What was it like to stay over? That was different too.
That was.
I talked with a couple this season. I talked with Mason Miller about it. What was that?
That was fun.
Emotion being like back at the hotel Monday night.
That was really cool. That was to see Bison Nation show out that night and kind of just celebrate with all the guys, and it was really special.
You got time for a few more minutes here?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break and come back. Much more with now outgoing Bison linebacker Luke Weerts on his 6-year career at NDSU. Back on Hot Mic on this Wednesday morning right after this. All right, back here for a few minutes. Back with Bison linebacker Luke Weerts. I got an email in here. This is pretty good. I got to ask. Dom, can you ask Luke where was he when Tommy Mellott knocked over the trash can? Were you in view of that?
No, I wasn't. I didn't even know it happened until after the game.
So I saw it. I'm up in the press box, right? And I saw it happen. I'm like, so he did that on purpose. Like, what is he doing? Why did that happen?
Yeah.
Was there anybody that you knew that was around that saw it?
I didn't talk to anyone around it. I don't even know. Did it get picked up or was it just
sitting somebody
there?
Picked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess one of the equipment staff on the Bison sideline did it. But
Gotcha.
knocked it totally on purpose.
Yeah.
Totally.
That was something. I don't know.
You played against him, obviously, the prior year out in Bozeman.
Yep.
How difficult is that guy to bring down?
Man, he's a special player. Yeah. And he's a lot to contain. You really need to be on your P's and Q's and do your assignment on defense. It's almost like a triple option. Like I know like Coach Olson, a lot of the defenders were talking about this the game week, but it is like a triple option. You got to defend everything.
You played a litany of great quarterbacks. Shadur Sanders, you were on the field with trying to tackle him earlier this year. Gronowski, obviously, which, if I throw a couple at you, which comes to mind? Like, boy, this guy was number one that was really hard to stop.
Number one is tough. I mean, as far as a winner, Gronowski was he had our number for a while there, and he's a really good quarterback. Credit to him. Shadur is probably the most talented arm for sure. He made some throws that game which were just I don't even know how that happened, and then Mellott was the legs. He was the toughest to contain.
You're old enough though. You faced Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that going? How was that going up in practice?
Oh, he was a lot to deal with too. Yeah.
I can imagine, you're a freshman coming in and seeing this guy. Like, you got to.
I was a freshman.
Is a quarterback?
Yeah, I remember the week or the weeks leading up, the winter camp leading up to the championship. We had a bunch of DNs that were out on scout team. So I was playing scout DN at 210 pounds soaking wet against Dylan Radens and Cordell Volson, and they were just absolutely destroying me. And he got Trey Lance toting the rock. It was
that's
it
why.
was something.
I mean, with all apologies to the other team, the 21 team you were on was awfully good. That entire offensive line is playing in the NFL.
Yeah,
that
incredible.
19 team, you had right now I think 18 NFL guys.
It was
at
special.
NDSU.
Yeah, that team was so talented.
I mean, at that point, I don't know if you're talking to your parents like, oh, I'm on an all-star team. Like when you just got here, how wide-eyed were you that freshman year of 2019?
I was just trying to soak everything in. Yeah. When you're a freshman and everything.
And you're playing, though. You weren't redshirting. Right. You played that entire season.
Yep. Yeah, I got some time in at the end of the games, and watching a guy like Jackson Hankey go out and play the Mike linebacker position really helped me. It was something. I'm still angry that we didn't get to play Oregon that next year because that would have been
you and me both, my man.
That would have been something
because the amount of NFL guys on the field there. Penei Sewell was playing for Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Was Herbert there? Or was he?
No, I don't think so.
Was his last year 2019?
Yeah, I think,
or maybe earlier.
I think he was before that. Kayvon Thibodeau was playing on the defensive line for Oregon, that would have been you and me both. There was a lot of people who like to have seen how that would have played out. I mean, and that just goes to show what you went through this entire. I mean, without the COVID year, obviously this past season doesn't happen. I know it's not a blessing in disguise, but just all the we were talking about. There's no straight lines. All the twists and turns you went through. It's enough to write a book about, right?
Yeah, it was. There was a lot. That COVID year was like a fever dream. It felt like. It was. We didn't know if we were going to play a game.
Yeah.
We had the season canceled at one point, and then we were playing one game in the fall.
Then you're playing in the spring.
Yeah, playing in the spring. I remember the one thing that sticks out about that COVID year was the South Dakota game at South Dakota. That was supposed to be my first start ever because
that's right.
Yeah, Jackson Hankey had suffered a concussion the week before against UND.
Yeah. Yep.
So we get there, we're sitting for pregame meal, and Coach Enns is taking a little bit longer to come out and talk to us. We're like, oh, what's going on? He comes out and announces that the game's canceled, and I got to call my parents and tell them to head home because they were all coming for the game. And man, that was a tough one. There's so much adversity, but also so much triumph throughout my career.
We had your mom and dad on the week of the Arizona game, and I know how special that was because your younger brother at the time was playing at Arizona.
Yep.
What was that memory? Where's that one rank for you? Because you played a ton. You started in that game at Arizona.
Yeah, it was obviously didn't end the way we wanted to, but the fact that it's probably most special for my parents just to watch their kids both on the same field playing college football against each other is pretty cool. Especially what are the odds of that? The only FBS opponent that we have that year is the team that my little brother's on. Like that's just.
And now he's playing. He just come up an all-conference season at Duluth.
Yeah, he had a great season. He's coming into his own there.
That's
and
awesome.
He's been a leader of that team, and I'm really excited for this last year.
So you got some road trips coming up to see him this coming fall then?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Duluth's
fantastic.
a hidden gem now.
Oh, it's pretty nice,
I didn't
man.
know. Going into there, I didn't know it was going to be what it was, but we were over at the lake out there, and Lake Superior is a little bit scary now.
It's nice.
It's
nothing to mess with. It is. It's a great lake. So,
yeah.
For your mom and dad, how many games did they miss? I always ask parents this. So how many did they miss in the 6 years you were playing up here?
As far as one of them was almost always there.
That's amazing.
Like it was, because obviously my little brother Mojo was playing too, so they had to split it up a little bit. But one of them was almost always there. I don't remember. There was probably a handful that they missed, but I don't remember in particular.
Two things before we got to go. For the Bison fans that are going to watch the linebackers next year, it's going to be a transition here. You're not there. Kubitz is gone.
Yeah.
Oscar's gone. Who's the up-and-coming guy? Marcus is gone. Who's the up-and-comers here? Hey, keep an eye on. They haven't played a whole lot yet for people to keep their eye on.
Well, at my position, I think Nathaniel Staling's going to do a great job. He's coming off a little bit of an injury, but he's a special talent. That kid can move, and he's a great leader.
He's a big guy, too.
Yeah,
he's big.
He's big. Yeah, I mean, his nickname's Hammy, so he's got a little he's got a little bit behind it, and then Enoch coming back's huge for the Sam linebacker position. And then him and obviously Donovan Woolen is a special
freak
talent,
show too,
young kid. And then Kopp is, just the staple of that group, just the guy that's produced the most. But there's gonna be no step down at linebacker next season.
The now transition to former Bison player is underway. When do you think that will hit? Like, okay, this is no longer part of my. Has it hit yet? This is no longer part of my routine.
Yeah, it's hit a little bit. I've been talking to some of my buddies, and I think next fall is when it's really gonna hit, when I'm not strapping it up. But I just started this past week working at Choice Bank selling commercial insurance. So that's
nice.
That's new. That's something I need to just dive right into. And man, it hasn't really hit me fully yet, to answer that question.
Last thing, because you put a pretty, I think, nice tweet out yesterday about encapsulating the last 6 years. You now met your future wife here.
Yep.
Obviously, you had the success football. You got a degree. You got a job. Just how do you encapsulate what the last 6 years have meant to you?
Man, that's that is a big question. It is. NDSU is really a special place. I know people will say that, but it truly is. I mean, it's given me everything, and I have everything to give back to it. Man, just like you said, meeting my fiance, meeting my best friends, my groomsmen in my wedding. Being able to play for 6 years against incredible coaches and the connections I've made along the way. And the thing I'll miss the most is just the guys. I mean, there's not a time where you can get that group of guys, especially in football. It's a special thing. 100 and some guys from different walks of life, from different areas, all coming together to make a team and a special team like we had. I mean, it's truly a blessing in my life, and I'm something I'll never take for granted.
Who's in the groomsmen? Any guys we know?
Yeah, I got Dylan Hendricks,
Okay.
Jake Rock, Hunter Brosio, GC, Giancarlo Volpesta.
Nice.
Yep, Julian Wodarczyk.
Wow, that's
And-
another Illinois guy.
And
Yep.
Cam's going to be an usher. So
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Congratulations. It's been a blast to do this. Don't be a stranger.
Yep.
And thanks again for coming by this morning.
Of course. Thanks, Dom.
Luke Weerts, Bison, 3-time national champion linebacker, joining us here in studio. 2-time Bison captain. We'll break. He's going to be mad I'm keeping him waiting. Bison men's basketball coach Dave Richmond will join us. We start hour 2 right after this.